want no cowards in our camp, while the red colors fly.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God. Come on, to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
It's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord of Lords. On one accord. We ain't never stopped.
Count up all your dishes, pots, and forks, knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment in a hotel. You know what I mean?
This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck. You can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud. Straight up out the base.
In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said he would send plagues upon the earth before he frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today. Call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K. Jamaica. Shalom.
Shalom, Hebrew. Shalom, my Israelite brothers. Shalom, Akim and Akwatian. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at one wedding. 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA, the man at the rank and the authority to be the leader of the Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans at this time. Yahweh Basham Yawashai Barakatam to the brothers, Yahweh Shama Alakan Basham Yawashai to the sisters. Welcome to our Sunday afternoon scripture breakdown. What's our topic this week? We're talking about sorry. Dealing with these signs of Christ's return. You know, the skeptic, you know, always say, are the naysayers. You always the signs that Christ talk about. And you always see those things in the earth. You always see earthquake. Man, always countries always overthrow them one another. You know, plagues, you always see plagues. But yet still, those are the things that Christ tell you about. That the scriptures tell you about that will be evident when Christ returns. Sorry, when Christ's return is close. All right, so the things that Christ spoke of are in the scriptures that he says will indicate how close his return is. All right, so let me get this up. All right. So the things that Christ spoke of, they are all recorded in the scriptures. Today we're going to be looking at some of them. All right. Which scripture we're going to first? We're going to 2nd Esdras chapter 15. We're right in the Apocrypha. Right in the books that your oppressor has removed from the scriptures and tell you, don't read those. As if anyone has the right to remove parts of your history. Tell about this part of your history is not canonical. Why? Because, you know, it is too humane. It doesn't, when you read it, you will see. It doesn't, the Apocrypha it brings your mind back to earth. Right, something that Christians should understand. It brings your mind back to earth. In other words, all your scriptures try to put your head up in the clouds and tell you that when Christ returns, it's the entire earth that is going to be cast out. Like the Most High is just going to kick the earth out in oblivion and build a new earth. This is how the script, this is how Christians tell you, as if to say, well, this earth is so bad. But the white man believe that if he is not ruling, then the earth is, how you put it now? if he is not ruling, then the earth won't be around. You notice I don't say the word, I said the earth, the part that they walk on. He believes if he is not ruling, that will be cast out. But today we're going to prove that it is not so. I'm going to show you that, you know, the oppressor is nothing but a goddamn liar. Shalom, brother. You're out. Not hearing. Not hearing you. All right, until the brother comes in.
Salakia. Yahweh Shem Yahshua
Yahweh Shem Yahshua. I thought they mash up in Hebrew Academy, man.
No, man. I rang my card, me have plug in. Salakia.
No, I thought just now. I thought before you came in, I don't see you. I was calling you.
Salakia, I'm actually that wait for the for see the notification jump up. But I don't see it. So I come check to see if it start. And then my sister.
Yeah, I realize that sometimes it don't come in. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
maybe the person or two like that, like the topic, you know.
Yeah, I notice YouTube kind of now send out the notification themselves.
Yeah, man, YouTube too, them they're getting very well. They're not getting. They are very selective when they're ready.
Okay.
All right, so we had second Esdras in the Apocrypha 15.
Another one can.
All right, let's see if we should start at 1. We should. Second Esdras 15, 13, 14, 15. All right, let's. All right, yeah. We read this part so many times. Why we read it over and over? Because it's relevant to today. Read verse 1.
Another one can. This is the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord.
All right, so the Most High is telling Esdras to speak in his people's ears the word of prophecy. These words that the Most High will put in Esdras' mouth. Verse 2. Verse 2. What happened now? Okay. All right, and verse 2 says, cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. What do you mean by faithful and true? When something is faithful, it means that what? It will come true for you. Meaning it will if I say, boy, this, let's use a simple thing. This pen is faithful, boy. I mean that each time I require writing, this pen is ready to write. And if I should say this car is faithful, man, it means that, boy, it might give trouble, but it gets you where you're going. So the Most High is saying that these words of prophecy that is written right here is faithful and true, means that it shall come to pass.
Okay.
No matter what you say or what the oppressor think, but the matter of fact, his actions is just going to play right into fulfilling the scriptures. And verse 3 says, fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee. Yeah. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. What does incredulity mean? Let's look that up.
Yeah, hear me now, sir?
Can. Look for this word, incred, I-N-C-R, where is it? I-N-C-R-E-D-U-L-I-T-Y.
Another one can.
Right, he says, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So, all right. You see, the scriptures know that there will be those that will be speaking against us is true people. But he's saying, let not them trouble you. You find the word?
Cancer, incredulity, the state of being unwilling or unable to believe something.
Right, the state of being unwilling or our?
Salakia. The state of being unwilling or unable to believe something.
Right, unwilling or unable. Meaning that they don't want to believe.
Okay.
Or in some people's case, they are not able to believe because they have been buried so deep in the lies
Okay.
that they are not able to believe the truth because they have not been exposed to the light. They have not been exposed to the truth. But there are those who hear the truth, but will tell you, Nasa, God is not like that. God is not like this, and so on and so forth. You understand?
Okay.
Right. So that is how the Most High know that these things will be. So he said, don't let that bother you, man. Don't let that bother you. Verse 4 says,
Another one can. Verse 4, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
because all those that are unfaithful, they are going to die in their unfaithfulness. So some people, will bring the word up, but you're not going to reach them.
Okay.
You're not going to reach them. Many of them are not going to reach because they are going to die in their unfaithfulness. Your mic volume can turn up.
Cancer.
Right. So let not the unwillingness or inability of those the naysayers. Don't let them trouble and cast fear in you. Many times the unbelievers, the unbeliever into this prophecy is the ones that is the same people that you look up to, You look up and you say, boy, I would like to have funds, I would like to have money like the man there. I would like to achieve something like this man. I would like to do this. I would like to be like that man. And I'm talking about your very own brother, right? Not necessarily talking about the oppressor. But the same, our very same people that you want to be like. They are really the naysayers, the ones that is saying foolish is the matter.
Okay.
That's not going to happen. Why you think they gotta go just this and gotta go just that? And no, they can tell you it's man. God is pushing it, but it's really man fulfilling it. All right, next verse.
Another one can. Verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
Moses says these plagues that he's going to bring is going to come in the form of sword, famine, death, destruction. Boy, I tell you, the sword is really like us in Jamaica here. The sword is really knocking us here in Jamaica. And the sword take a different form now. The sword now becomes what? The gun. The sword has become the gun. And trust me, it is plaguing us here in Jamaica. Famine. All right. The kind of sword that the Most High is talking about right here is really war. Because this sword that is going to come is going to cause famine, it's going to cause death, it's going to cause destruction. What bring forth all those? War.
Good.
War is what bring forth all these things. And war is indeed looming over this world. All right. Let me go to, there's an article. There's an article published, today's what, Sunday. The article was published about Friday, I think. I'm going to share this article online. We're going to read this article. Right, this article comes from NATO. Sorry, the article is not from NATO, but the article is about NATO. What is happening in NATO?
Good.
Because let's go into the reading. NATO chief stresses unity in face of China-Russia threat. They do not share our values. Now, NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is saying to each of their member states within the NATO alliance that why we ourselves have to remain united so that we can counter Russia and China. Russia and China combined is the two largest force outside of NATO and America. That combination is a serious combination against NATO and America.
Good.
In other words, they are presenting another view to life. In the West, it says democracy and capitalism is good. Russia and China now together is presenting a different opinion. Both of those countries somewhat have capitalist people within them, even though they are communist based. They have capitalist persons. Yeah, because you have some Russian billionaire, you have some Chinese billionaire. They are capitalists. But at the same time, they still use the communist ideology to govern the people. So those two countries now is presenting another view to the whole socio-economic structure of the world. But the West feels threatened by it. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg warned Friday, that's Friday gone, that a strong alliance amongst member nations is more important than ever amid mounting threats from China and Russia. All right, where is this? How is this threat coming back? Are they referring to the troop build-up and so on? Not necessarily. What we see, he continues to say now, that what we see are that Russia and China are becoming closer and closer.
Good.
In other words, Russia and China now beginning to, as they would put it, close ranks. So whatever one says, the other says. If Russia says no to something, China is not going to counter and say yes. China is going to say no as well. And if China says yes to something, Russia is going to say yes as well. They are showing signs of that they have closed ranks between each other. And it is bothering the West. It is bothering NATO and the NATO alliance. They are becoming closer and closer, he told Margaret Brennan during an Atlantic Council event. They exercise together, they operate together, they stand together more and more in the UN, United Nations. So you see the thing now. China is now becoming what? Magog. You know that Russia is Gog, you know.
Good.
Right? I think the Gog is the opposition to Babylon. And that is showing Russia as the one that the scripture says, the Most High said, he will put hooks in his jaw.
Right.
I can search for that in the meantime. I think it's somewhere in Isaiah. I will put hooks into your jaws. I think. If you can find it. Right. Brennan during an Atlantic Council event, they exercise together. That is military exercise. They operate together. They do business and everything together. They stand together more and more in the UN. Right? These are two authoritarian regimes that do not share our values. He continued. They crack down on democratic opposition in their respective countries. Also, all of us who believe in the rule of law and democracy and the freedom of the press, we need to stand together. Now, this is counter to how Christ will be operating. Yeah. Christ's regime will be an authoritarian regime, not a democratic regime. So maybe that's why you see the authoritarians gaining strength, you know. NATO allies send deadly weapons, munitions, and to Ukraine, while Germany sent 5,000 helmets. No, this is like a joke still, you know. But I mean, what do they expect? Russia, there is this $11 billion investment at stake to give Russia cheap energy to boost their economy. And as if they are expecting Russia to say, nah,
right,
I'm going to sacrifice my economy for Ukraine. Germany not going to do that. And you can't blame them. Ukraine was an ally of Russia, so they can always go back. But the others now want to say, you know, when Hitler invaded Poland, the rest of the world stood by and did nothing. And when Italy had invaded Ethiopia, England, who was the superpower then, did nothing. And we see how it all turned out. So this time now, if Russia should invade Ukraine, we're going to do something. We're going to stop him right from there. But pity they don't know. They're not going to work something. Stoltenberg said the importance of a NATO alliance is not just vital for European security, but as a source of global stability. So the white man believes that if he is not ruling with his democracy and capitalism, the world won't be stable.
Right.
That's his disbelief. But when you look at China and Russia, they are quite stable. Poor people are victimized in both of these regimes, whether it's capitalism, whether it is authoritarianism. Poor people are victimized. As a matter of fact, the authoritarian countries, they have less prisoners, you know. The capitalist countries have more people locked up in prisons.
Our people.
Yeah, our people at that. So if we were to make a choice, who do you think we probably would be choosing? We're choosing the regime that is going to put less of our people in prison.
Right.
That would be a choice, but we know that both regimes will be going under when Christ returns.
Right.
Right? And the signs are showing. All right. The NATO chief said that together the US and the 29 other member nations represent 50% of the world's economic might. So this is another thing. We know that they love to play the numbers game. So they say, okay, we are able to align 50% of the world's economic might together. So we can talk. Yeah. All right. And might, economic might and military power, two strong combination right there. A strength that is needed to combat mammoth nations like China and Russia. That's the bear and the dragon. While Russia's military capabilities rival that of the US, the size of China's population, a whopping 1.4 billion people, compared to the US roughly 300 million, lends to its sheer manpower capability. So they love to play the numbers game, but at the same time, when you look on the other side have a larger number. China alone is about, let's see, almost four times the population of America. Almost 4 times the population of America. It is more than 3 times the population of America and Europe combined. And they have good military and they have good military power. So if the power of this world is up for grabs, you think they're not going to take it? If it's up for grabs, because America definitely has lost grounds.
Right.
You know, even since the COVID thing. China will soon have a bigger economy than the United States. They already have the largest defense budget. Stoltenberg said they are leading within many technologies like parts of artificial intelligence, parts of quantum computing, and they will have the biggest navy in the world. They see playing the numbers again. They will have the biggest navy in the world. That is how China is growing its military. It is a great advantage for the United States to have something that China and no other major power has, and that is many friends and allies, he continued. So they are counting that they have more friends than, I have more friends than you. Well, friends normally run left, you know. It's good to have friends. It's good to have allies. The Secretary General said NATO's core principle of one for all for one has made the post-World War II coalition the strongest alliance in history. So what we are seeing here is NATO showing that, why, in other words, I don't think that since World War II, I don't think NATO has ever felt so threatened like they are now. They have never been so, signs of disunity have never been so strong as is now. The French don't forget anything. And America did hit them with that, you know, that Australian submarine deal.
Yeah.
They haven't forgotten it. And watch and see if they're not going to, they're probably going to use that card right when it hurts America. That card is coming.
Good. Salakia, sir. And to add where you say, sir, France was the ones who, you know what I mean, brought together that last start between Ukraine and Germany and Russia. Just a couple days ago.
They hosted it.
Gone. To show you that they don't really want to go against Russia. Salakia.
Yeah. Well, France said that they were going to send fighter jets to Romania.
Gone.
Now, all NATO is sending out their troops and equipment in other NATO states. And so, well, if he invade, if Ukraine get invaded, then you never know who next. But it's a Russia, that Russian move there where them sent to Romania, that could possibly be to pull back Romania to Russia. Yeah, so when France time come to leave NATO now, him carry Romania with him.
Good.
Who knows? Romania is one of the countries on the Russian border. Some interesting war drums are beating. All right, let me see if we can read this now. This is.
May I have the scripture where you did God?
Yeah, man. I'm going to need it after this article.
Okay, go.
Right. This rest of this article now is talking about the deployment of troops to Ukraine, which we know that one is going. But now what we want to bring out from this is the disunity that is brewing. Disunity that is brewing within the NATO camp. You understand?
Good.
All right. The article that the scripture you find is, tell me where it's from.
Ezekiel chapter 38. And verse 1 to 4 basically cover it.
Is it?
Cancer.
All right, Ezekiel 38. Book of Ezekiel, where are you? Come. And I will tell you back. All right, yeah, go on.
Another one can. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech, and Tubal.
Meshach.
Okay, Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him.
All right, so our understanding in the UPK is that Meshach and Tubal, that is that's the basic, the fundamental prime national tribe of the Russians, right? So we know that that is Russia. And then, all right, continue. When we reach 4, you're going to see the strong confirmation that it's really them. Go on.
Another one can. Verse 3, and say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal.
All right, so the Most High is against them, even though they are the ones who he's going to use to start the disturbance. He is against what they are doing. Why? The Most High is against every single country in this earth. Is it that the Most High? Is it that the God that we serve is a tyrant? No. The God that is over Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who are the sons or the children of Jacob, is angry with the nations because of the way they treat his people. None of these nations have given no credence to the Most High's people.
Okay.
There is one that make a statement recently, one in particular, talk about the Bible is the books of all books. It is the fundamental book of which all other literature spring from. This is what one of the white men say now. One of the oppressors said that. But when you look at it, they say, yeah, you're right. So if you see the Bible that way, what are you doing about the people that the book speak of?
Right.
What contribution are you making to lift these people that the Bible speak of? Right? And the analogy that it comes down to is that, these people are like, you ever had apple pie?
Yeah.
Right. Let's say, tell me something that you love to eat out here. Potato pudding, right?
Okay.
We like potato. Potato pudding is loved in Jamaica. Right? Potato pudding is eaten in Jamaica more than apple pie. We love potato pudding. It is made from sweet potato. It's not the only ingredient, but it's the main ingredient in potato pudding, right? What he's saying is just like someone who would say, I love potato pudding, but I have no regards for potato.
Good.
How would that work? Yeah, so what you saying?
Salakia, sir. In order for you to get the potato pudding, you need the potato. Salakia.
That's my point.
Good.
So why you see the Bible this way, but you see it unnecessary to have any regards and try to get your people to show some regards to the Most High's people that is mentioned in the book.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, these people who actually lived the life that is recorded in the book. We lived the life. They were the ones who brought us down. Well, the Most High allowed that to happen because he wanted to punish us. Yeah, we know that. But they are the same ones who are giving, who are showing, what you say now, showing some kind of importance to your history.
Okay.
But they show no importance to you. Tell them, man. All right, let's continue.
Another one can. Verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords.
All right. So this one now, I put hooks in that jaw and turn the back. This was identified as Russia. As a matter of fact, this one was identified before Russia fell.
Good.
Because the prophets in the UPK know when they talk about Meshach and Tubal, who it was talking about. So they had long known that, Gog is Russia. And Magog is the Russian alliance. The countries that will be fighting with Magog.
Good.
All right, that is 4. But read this now.
Good.
Read 5.
Another one can. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet.
Now, which is telling you that the Persian army, that's Persia is who?
Iran.
Who is Iran's closest ally?
Iran's closest ally, I think, is Russia or China.
Not China, Russia.
Russia. Good.
All right. Ethiopia. The other day when Ethiopia had what was in the peak of its civil war, China said they support the Ethiopian government.
Okay, good.
We don't know if him send give them any military aid.
Good.
We know that the Ethiopian government gets some kind of military aid. We don't know from who. But if it is from China, then they can see that Ethiopia is going to be a Chinese ally. And China is already is getting closer and closer to be a Russian ally. Strong Russian ally. All right. And they talk about Goma. All right, Goma is France in 6. Goma and all his bands. So Goma, France have been allies to them.
Good.
So I'm going to come and do some. Seal the deal with Russia. Now the West, which is America, is expecting that by February, you are going to see some more things playing out. We're watching all that as well. Watching closely, man. So we know that whose jaws the hook went into, that is Russia.
Yeah.
So what we're reading here from the article is talking about Russia and China closing ranks and becoming a serious threat or serious concern to NATO. All right. Give me back. Go back to thing there.
Another one gun.
All right, let's go in this other article. NATO speak. Right, Africa in focus. I know, now touch that yet. Second extras. Go back to second extras.
Another one gun. This is the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 6. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their earthful works are fulfilled.
Wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their earthful works are fulfilled. What is this talking about? This is speaking against the oppressor? The main one, first and foremost, is Babylon.
God.
But isn't Babylon today praised by every single country in the earth? Well, except for even the Russian and the Chinese, they have regards for them because it's their money they do trading. China don't trade in US dollar, and Russia don't trade in US dollar. Not the main, well, it depends who they're trading with, but they do trade with the US dollar. So why is the scripture talking about now? So everybody see them as the United States as being the country to go. So why is the scripture saying their wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and earthful works are fulfilled? What earthful works? They have earthed the Most High's people,
right,
to the core. They have earthed the Most High's people to the core. And for that, verse 7.
Another one can, verse 7. Therefore saith the Lord, verse 8, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually.
So the things that they have wickedly exercised themselves is to touch the innocent and the righteous, to shed their blood, shedding the blood of the innocent and the righteous. You know, this is the most I don't mention anything about the guilty.
Right.
Yeah. Most I don't care much about you were guilty. Yeah, that's how we see it. But the one that is innocent and the one that was righteous, they still shed their blood. That has become cause of concern for the Most High. All right, verse 9.
Another one can, verse 9. And therefore, saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
Right, he will receive all the innocent blood from among these nations. That is against the Most High's people, shedding the righteous blood and the innocent blood. Continue.
Another one can, verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
Right, so this is the Most High's concern. This is why he is angry with Egypt, Babylon, the same country, same one they call America today, North America, United States of America. The Most High is angry with them for the way that he treats the Most High's righteous people, and they are led as a flock to the slaughter. So this is how you know that, and this is why these are the reasons why they remove these books from the scripture and tell you about those books are not canonical, those books are not this, and those books are not that.
Right.
Because you know, in other words, these books reveal to them, these books reveal too much, man.
Right.
They say, yeah, move them books, man. They move the chat too much, man. They tell them people everything about it. Remove them. Because this is letting you know that the Most High's people is the one that is being mistreated in the modern day Egypt.
Right.
Plain and simple. So if he wants to convince you that the white man that is in the land that they call Israel is indeed the Most High's people, they would have to move this book to convince people. And even though a lot of people come back now and read this book and see it, the boy them still hold on to the lie. I don't know. Maybe they love to play numbers. Maybe they love to play numbers too.
Okay.
Probably. But here the Most High is letting you know that his people is being led as a flock to the slaughter in Egypt. Verse 11.
But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. And smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof.
He is going to smite the place with plagues as before he did it in ancient Egypt. Why the Most High said that? Because that is what he's been doing. So this is what you look out for when he start to smite America with plagues. So much so now that it start to, plagues are going to be more and more, increase more and more.
Okay.
Up to the point where you see a clear demarcation between who is for the Most High and who is not. Because what? He said he was smiting plagues as before now. And one thing I can remember was the plagues, when the plagues started to increase, it smite the Egyptians. And it didn't trouble the Israelites.
Right.
So this time is coming closer and closer where you are going to see. And when you look at coronavirus, who is dying more?
Israelites.
Well, the Israelites dying more now. White people them dying more. Europe, America.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And who have the highest rate of vaccination in the world?
The oppressor.
Europe and America.
Good.
They have the highest rates of vaccination and the highest rates of the virus. And the highest death rate. So that tell you that they cannot stop the Most High's hand. The Most High smite who he want to smite. All right? A lot of our people catch it and has recovered. Well, one thing that we have learned through science is that the man who catch it and recover is resistance increase. The resistance gets stronger. So you'll be better be able to ward a future plague.
Okay.
But these white people them catch it and keep catching it again. Not good. All right. What verse are you
now? Verse 12.
12.
Another one can. Verse 12. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it.
Coming more and more. Since this winter we see one, was it a city that burnt down with fire? Or was it just a section of a state in America? The wildfire.
When?
The wildfire. Since winter this year. Or last year.
Fire that just went. I think it was a major part of one city, sir. Though I can't really.
Yeah.
Sure,
but look at it. Fire during winter.
Oh yeah, that one. Gun.
Mm-hmm. And when the fire managed to come out, the snow fell after.
Gun.
No, this is what you call plague.
God.
This is what you call curse. Now, these are things that we used to feel as a people. Plague and disaster upon disaster, they want to punish us. So it's their time to feel these things. Damage with fire, and then the snow fall. Yes, and then the snow couldn't fall earlier out the fire. Nah, the Most High not going to do that. Nah, you know, it doesn't want that. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 13. They that till the ground shall mourn. Their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation.
That is coming. As soon as there is some major war in this world, you're going to start seeing that. And some things are not being reported. Yeah, they're talking about this supply chain, our supply distribution problem that is causing supermarket shelves to remain empty. They're not telling you everything.
Okay.
Because if you have the food ready and it don't reach the supermarket, what do you think is going to happen to you?
That's spoil.
Thank you.
Good.
So there's a part of the problem that they are not reported. What is happening to those food that is not reaching them? Something is going to happen to them. They are going to spoil. They are going to go off.
Good.
Right. Especially when it comes to fresh fruits and vegetables. They are going to go off. So it's just a matter of time before it might pick up that a lot of foods being dumped.
Good.
So if the farmer produced the food, but the food didn't get to reach the supermarket, which means it didn't sell, how is he going to get money to replant?
Right.
You see the problem?
Good.
That's the problem that he's going to be faced with now, because he's going to be needing to replant. What am I going to do? That's the problem. All right, continue.
Another one can. Verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
Yeah, destruction to those that dwell in the world at this time. And it's coming up. You see crime on the increase in Jamaica. Well, last year we spoke of it, that crime will be increasing. Because we saw what was coming, and so lo and behold, it has increased, and it is still increasing.
Good.
What verse what you know? 15?
15, good, sir. Verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands.
The sword and destruction draw nigh. Just like how you see Russia and the Ukraine border. And Russia put down some strong demand. Russia put up some demands which, I mean, you know America is going to say no. But so when you put these demands on America said no, what do you think Russia going to do? Lap it, steal and just walk away? No, you can't do that, because it's one thing if it's you alone, you know, but when you have other countries looking up to you as their role model, as the big and serious allies. Yeah. You can't just walk away from something like that. You have to find a way to get back at the bully.
Good.
Right? See what Russia did, they send one wave of aid to Cuba. You know, hinting to America that I can still take up back Cuba, and if you come around there and give me trouble, I can't come around there and give you trouble when it comes to Cuba. You understand?
Okay.
So, 15, the sword and the sword's destruction draweth nigh. It is drawing near for real. 16.
Another one gone, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
And you look at this, is this happening?
Right.
It is.
Gone.
Right. We're gonna go to the, all right, stop sharing that. We're gonna go to the thing there. Let me put up the video about the Africa thing there. Where is it? Democracy falling seem to have a domino effect. And all these that we are reading about, oh, you know that it is a signs of Christ's return because they are happening at the same time. You have the plagues. The plagues start the ball rolling. What happened since the plague? Right? Sedition. A lot of sedition happened since the plague. What? Look up for the meaning of sedition for me.
Another one gone. One.
Yeah, you find it? Yeah.
Cancel. Sedition, conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch.
All right. So Africa have seen 6 cases since COVID. Let's see what this video says.
And the military takeover in Burkina Faso. ECOWAS has suspended the country from its governing bodies.
Since I think last week, between last week, 2 weeks before last, the military government the military in Burkina Faso overthrew the government.
Okay.
They overthrew the government. They stand back, they didn't come out and say we did it and this is what is going to happen. And think. It's like they're on a wait and see to see what the West or America is going to say or do. But anytime the West looks like it is in problem, there is always coup in Africa. There's always military coup or some rebel force trying to overthrow a country in Africa. If we can get to the bottom of this, there is some European nation or personnel behind this military government that is forming in Burkina Faso and into the other ones that have been overthrown so far. All right, let's listen to this.
Army officers there say they detained President Roch Christian Kabore because he was failing to tackle the jihadist insurgency. The military takeover drew popular support with hundreds of people taking to the streets of the capital to cheer on the junta. His first speech, Burkina Faso's new military leader, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henri Damiba, promised the country would return to constitutional order someday.
When the conditions are right, according to the deadline that our people will define in all sovereignty, I commit to a return to a normal constitutional order. Fellow citizens, people of Burkina Faso and the diaspora, while there are many priorities, it is clear that the main priority remains security. I understand the legitimate doubts raised by this break in the normal functioning of the state, but I would like to reassure all friends of Burkina Faso that the country will continue to respect its international commitments, particularly with regard to the respect of human rights.
A clear pledge there from Burkina Faso's new leader. Now here's a look at how he came to power.
There's little doubt who's in control in Ouagadougou. Members of the deposed government stand respectfully as their military rulers march in. Burkina Faso's democratically elected politicians can only sit and watch. Their ouster brought jubilation to the streets of the capital and celebrations across the country.
For more on this, I am joined by Onela Modran, head of...
All right, what this part of the news are going into now, the amount of country that has fell within the African continent by coup since COVID. All right.
The Sahel program at the Institute for Security Studies based in Bamako in neighboring Mali. Hello, thanks for joining us. Now, coups have now happened in Mali where you are, Guinea, Burkina Faso.
All right, so his name in it, Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso.
Chad, Sudan, an attempted coup.
Chad, Sudan, an attempted coup in
Niger. Is democracy dying in the Sahel?
Well, I think more than democracy, what is in crisis is governance and political systems. So in all three countries where we have faced situations in which elected presidents have been contested due to the lack of reactiveness of their governance. In the case of Burkina, one of the leading reasons behind the coup is the exasperation of the people towards a security situation that
All right, you know, what is causing these problems, you see, is this. Because the COVID hit, who used to supply these countries in Africa with loan? Who used to do it?
Slovakia, I don't know. Slovakia.
A white man.
Okay, can.
These European and American nations.
Can.
They supply them with loans. Since COVID and, you know, the many lockdowns and things, these European nations and America itself is not able to earn as they used to.
Okay, can.
So you won't be able to spin off of that is you have to know monies that you would have probably given out to countries as aid, you probably don't have to know spend it within your economy to re-bolster your people and your economy. So monies now are not able to go out as it should. So 6 countries, 5 fall. Ethiopia almost fall, fall yet. Niger, same one named Niger, and Niger had an attempted coup, and there will be more. And if you remember, there was an attempted coup. Haiti wasn't attempted; they killed the president.
Gone.
The one in Haiti. So these now the plague that the Most High sent. One of the spin-off is sedition. And it's spoken of in the Bible. Right? So sedition is on its way. The plague is still rolling, you know. And they are talking about a strain of corona that could be coming, which will be more deadlier than the Omicron.
Good.
Probably spread just as fast, but more deadlier. All right, so that's what this scripture is talking about. Let's go back to 2nd Esdras 17.
Canada one can. This is the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 15 verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
All right, we see that with Corona. Corona caused lockdowns. If I'm going to a city, you can't go.
Good.
You hear how much flights cancel. All right.
Good.
Verse 18.
Canada one can. Verse 18. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
All right. Now, is this talking about physical houses, or is talking about the house of so and so? You know, strong, talking about strong power.
Okay.
Money is destroyed. A lot of people, a lot of money, a lot of business get damaged in America, you know, and Europe since Corona. A lot of business shut down. I was reading earlier this year or last year about the amount of business shut down that you have spin off from Corona. You see all them chains where you have like Burger King, KFC, they call the coffee one there again. Starbucks, and the clothes store, them Gap and all them store there. Where, you know, they have stores worldwide. They have been closing them down like just like the wildfire where that get to in America. And the Corona has increased the amount of store closure since of lately, right? So, right, the pride shall be trouble. What's that pride? Because of their pride. Is it pride while them close down the cities? Well, I don't know. In Jamaica, crime kill more people than COVID. And we have never have a lockdown because of crime, but we have lockdown for COVID. Why do you think that is so? Think about it. We're going to play a video on Jamaica shortly too. Continue.
Canada one can. Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
So this is what is going to cause people now to invade each other. Hunger.
Good.
So UN Security Council, they know that a war is going to kick off. Serious war is coming. They know that. This America is reading the American diplomats and generals. They are reading the climate correctly, right? That's why they give their diplomats in Ukraine the order to leave, to take out on the families, because if Russia should invade, we can get to go in to take you out. So come out, take time and come out, right? Why is this? Because they are reading what is happening. They see the tribulation. You remember the UN meeting? You remember when they made the agreement that they will not use any nuclear weapon?
Yeah, I remember that. I heard about that agreement, Salakia.
Well, it was you who showed me the article, so you should remember it. But
Salakia.
Yeah, man. I remember you forward an article to me which state that I think it was maybe about a week or two ago. Probably 2 weeks ago. Where they say,
oh,
I you said that
oh, the one where they must say, all right, based on the tension we are going, they might come to an agreement, so them now make no use no nuclear.
Use no nuclear.
Okay, that one, Salakia, sir.
That article. Right. Because they know that something is going to give.
Okay.
And you know how it might go? They stay there and they build up troops and they build up troops until some stupid person just said, so, F it. Anything will happen. or somebody make a mistake and do something because the COVID mess with the mind too. That's another story. The COVID mess with the mind. You don't remember things as you should. You know, you're going to a room for something. I don't remember what you're coming there, what you're going there for.
God.
And you're fairly young. So one way or another, war is coming. It's either by action or accident. It is coming because the Bible has spoken of it. So we know it is coming. All right, verse what right now?
Verse 20. Verse
right.
20.
Yes.
Behold, say God, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them.
So you see, the Most High is going to start the repaying of the things, let them fight against each other. And this is what you are seeing setting up. China is doing what now? China step up the military overflight against Taiwan. The big talk now is not China and Taiwan, it's Russia and Ukraine. What if both of them strike at the same time? When Ukraine is being invaded by Russia, Taiwan is at the same time being invaded by China. You definitely would see a split in NATO.
God.
Yeah, because that will get them confused. And probably that is what is going on. The only reason why you don't see more tension from China is because they are hosting the Winter Olympic and they have invested a lot of money in that game. So they are waiting until that game before they start make them move.
Good.
After the Winter Olympics, we're going to see some things. But even Kim Jong-un is reading the weather too. There's a Kim Jong-un test some more missiles recently, up to last week, I think. So even him is reading the climate and say, you know, you're going to have a war. Let me prepare myself some more. But who is not prepared? The Most High's people.
Right.
We can't even prepare for tomorrow. The most of us might be able to prepare for is 2 months. 2 months in advance. What happens after that? Right? What about the man who is on? He's reading what is happening, but he has no funds to make the preparation. What do you think he's going to be thinking of? He is the one who now is going to be thinking of going into to spoil your house for a lack of bread. He'll be thinking of spoiling your house for a lack of bread. You remember the other day what was happening in which state was it again where they have the smash and grab?
California, LA,
Los Angeles, right? Yeah. And because it was being done by white people now. White people getting hungry and things. They don't call it they don't call it crime and robbery now. What they call it?
Smash and grab.
Smash and grab. These people are so evil. They make what they think, whatever they think they should make good, that's what they make good. So, you know, because it's done by white people, it's not. If it was done by black people, it would have been the worst thing to ever happen in Los Angeles. But it's white people doing it, so it's smash and grab. All right, next verse.
Another one gun. Slakia, verse 22. Slakia, verse 21. Like as they do, yet this day unto my chosen so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Lord God.
The same thing they do to us, the same thing the Most High is going to do to them. 22.
Canada 1 can, verse 22. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth.
All right, so the sinners would have been who? His people, because the law was given to us. So those of us who are breaking his law, even though he's going to punish the oppressor, you will be punished. Not with the oppressor, but you'll be punished. See crime increasing among us. We don't know what going to spin off from that.
Right.
You can imagine you cook your food and you cook some nice food in the home, Officer Kayadon. What is the general thing that comes from that? Some lovely food being cooked in your home. What it brings?
So okay, I mean like what it brings like crowd, like people smelling it and attention.
That's the key word there, the smell.
Okay.
So you get this lovely aroma being permeated through your community.
Okay.
Now can you imagine if you reach a stage now why you can't even go cook because when people smell a pot, you could be in trouble.
Right, gone. So okay.
Can you imagine that?
God.
That's what the scripture is saying is coming, because if these bigger nations goes into war, then their monies are going to be bottled up in war. So these smaller countries now that was able to alleviate crime by some little what do you call it again? Monetary gifts, loans or whatever, they are able to alleviate poverty and so by these monies that they get. Now that they're not going to get it, what do you think is going to happen? Just like the scripture said, they are going to spoil your house for lack of bread. And because of the great tribulation that is coming, and that would be happening.
God.
Right. So I mean, can we start research some ways we can cook without, like the aroma spread too much? Are there ways that we can start doing that?
I can't think of anywhere. Slack.
Maybe we're going to find a way to go underground and,
right.
But you still have to have an era. You still have to have a way to let the fire or the smoke escape. If you go underground, I'm talking.
Okay.
So the smell would still be, smelling up in the place.
Okay.
But that is one thing you're going to have to start looking at seriously now. Where you're going to cook a nice pot without causing a smell. I mean, we look at these things and we smile about it now because it's not happening. But what happens when it starts happening?
Right.
You get me? All right. What verse right now? 21.
Verse 22. Verse 22.
Go on.
My right hand shall not spare the sinners. And my read that. Slakia. Verse 23.
23.
The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and has consumed the foundation of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that is kindled.
All right. Why it said the fire is gone forth from his wrath? Because it won't be coming back. Once him started, it will be like a domino effect.
Okay.
So once him release the plague like he did with the COVID, he's not going to stop the ripple effect that is going to happen from this. He's going to allow it to continue until it destroys the oppressor and free us, his people. That's his plan. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 24. Woe to them that sin, and keep not my commandments, saith the Lord.
Now, for those of you who are really listening, woe to them that sin,
right,
does not keep the Most High's commandment. So because the church want to preach that the laws are done away with, they remove this book. Because here this book is telling you that if you don't keep the Most High's commandment, you're going to be in woe. And woe is destruction. So
Right.
you're going to be in destruction. That is what it is telling us right here in the Most High Scriptures. All right, let me touch the next thing now that is coming right home now. Right? Because we have a problem. All right, cut that share. I'm going to share another video because we have a problem here in Jamaica too. Where are you? We in Jamaica here, we have a problem with what is really happening.
Urgently addressed the country's high crime rate. Opposition leader Mark Golding was speaking at the final day of the Jamaica Stock Exchange's regional conference on Thursday. Now here's Shane Masters with that story.
The impact of crime on the economy is well known. In addition to the hefty bill to fight crime, successive governments have had to deal with issues like loss of foreign investment. Then there are concerns about the loss of business due to the prevalence of extortion and theft. Opposition leader Mark Golding says if the country's crime problem isn't controlled, the hopes of having any real growth in the economy is only a pipe dream.
It is a deep and complex problem which requires a multifaceted response. We accept that in dealing with communities which are torn by gang warfare, where violence is out of control, the state's response must be strong, rapid, and effective.
He maintains that the answer lies with the passing of two pieces of legislation, the Enhanced Security Measures Act and the Firearms Act.
Given the depth and depravity of our crime problem, it is, in my opinion, inexcusable that there has been this protracted delay in delivering these agreed commitments to help the country try and get on top of this crime problem.
All right. You see, I think with this crime situation, this is how we know that this is, and you know, like I always say, hello. Hello. Me now on class, so get what call about. All right. The other thing about the crime situation in Jamaica now. You see? All right. What are the crimes that you and I see in Jamaica? Or that we hear of mostly in Jamaica? What is it?
We hear about murder.
Murder.
Scamming.
Murder and scamming. Those are the two you hear about, don't?
Gun.
And who commit those murder and scamming generally in Jamaica?
The poor.
People. The poor.
Gun.
Did you know that there are crimes committed by the rich in Jamaica?
Right, gun.
White collar crime. You hear how much money is being missing from ministries?
Gun.
Huh?
Gun.
You hear about a lot of misappropriation of funds?
Gun.
And those crimes?
Gun.
And those crimes that can cripple the economies even more than what the poor is committing?
Right, gun.
Are you hearing anything about it?
Yeah.
Are you hearing the government taking steps and putting in laws to stem those things?
Yeah.
So this is the hypocrisy which the Bible is speaking about in these days. This is shedding the innocent blood. Because you are behaving as if it's only the poor people create crime and you're blowing it out of proportion while you are putting the spotlight on the poor in Jamaica. The rich is getting away with tons of crime. All now we don't know what is happening over by Petrojam. Billions of dollars.
Good.
Right? Probably in US dollars. Right? Billions of dollars misappropriated in Petrojam and other places. Ministry of Education, other places. Which the one in Ministry of Education, see the man gone free and turning around soon government. This is the hypocrisy of the system. This is the hypocrisy that is plaguing Jamaica, and this is what is going to destroy us. And who is going to get the blame? The poor.
God.
And the blinded people, right? Especially those in our Christian church. When these measures come out and they start to clobber the poor, they are going to say, yes, man, a long time them are this and a long time them are that. So in other words, they are going to be watching the poor being mistreated, being killed, being falsely imprisoned, while the rich still getting away with the crimes that they have committed and committing. This is what we are facing with in Jamaica. And they know that the things that they look at the things that they cut off. People not the regular people not earning from tourism. They're not earning from the music like they used to. First time a man used to keep a dance in our community. And there were so many things that the dance used to do. You know. People, you know, we are social creatures. You know. People are able to go out and socialize and to kind of alleviate the stress.
Good.
People are able to go out and hustle, make a little extra money, and smile that boy, I want little money can send me to the school for this week. People are able, the sound man make a money, the promoter make a money, the hustler make a money. People are able to hustle at the school gate. That God, it's only the poor that keep getting hit in Jamaica. Right? Who is the one who work and can't get their money? The poor. Who is the one not able to do a little hustling? The poor. And yet still they are coming to teach my kids to sing one love. Right. And to teach them that out of many one people. When COVID hit, you teach them that we are all in this together. And you shut down the country. But you have never shut down the country for crime. And crime is more crippling to us than COVID. Oh, what was the crime? What was the death rate last year? 3,000?
What, for COVID?
You know, was actually for COVID, for crime, for murder.
For murder, it was 1,000. Last year, 1,500 and something. The year before that, 1,300 and something.
What was the death rate for COVID last year?
Last year, it was what? I think it did reach up in the thousands, sir. Slacky, I don't remember exactly.
No, that is overall.
Overall, okay, go on.
Not for the year, no, that was overall.
Oh, Slacky, no, I'm not sure the specific number.
I don't think it was 600 last year.
Okay, go on.
Because the crime killed more than COVID. And you shut down the country for COVID, but you don't shut it down for the murder, you don't shut it down for the crime. This is the hypocrisy of our leaders, both parties.
Right.
This is what the Most High is angry about. And this is why he said, all right, my people, you're doing all this to my people, I'm going to mess the system up then. That is why earlier, we can go back to it if you want to, in second Esdras, what him say? Behold, my people is being led as a lamb to the slaughter. When they come up with this crime bill, what can we do to stop it?
Nothing.
How can we prevent these bills from being implemented and And how can we put it to the government? And we alone, is not the poor committing the most crime in the country. See the rich there, if the rich not do what them do, then you wouldn't have the poor man committing the crime.
Right.
Because you would have more money trickling down to the poor. But we reach a situation now where people are grabbing because it's as if they see the failure coming.
And Slakia, sir, the same restrictions that them implement is the reason why crime gone up, because you cut off people bread like I said earlier. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So crime must go.
Right.
Right. All right. There is somewhere else on this tape which the minister, the opposition minister, said something about crime being a social problem, which we're going to play. But this is also a problem because when they are in opposition, they see all the faults.
God.
When they go into government, it's a different thing.
Right.
Listen some more.
It is clear that more effective law enforcement is only a part of the solution.
Right. More effective law enforcement, that is only a part of the solution. Listen now again.
Achieving the normalization of Jamaica's crime levels. For a complete solution, we need to comprehensively address the factors which lead to the high levels of violence in our society. Those factors are, for the most part, the deep social and cultural challenges that reinforce the high levels of inequality in our society.
All right, so he's now in opposition. He see the inequality now.
Good.
And he realized that it's a high level of inequality. Listen.
Society and entrenched intergenerational poverty.
You know what I mean by intergenerational poverty?
God.
What the rich leave for his children?
All his wealth.
His wealth. What the poor leave for his children?
All his debts.
All his poverty.
God.
So this intergenerational poverty is what is being passed down from generation to generation. The parents in poor, you come poor too. How you going to get money? You're not going to get it. Listen.
That's why he's calling for greater focus on human development to reap the benefits of economic growth.
We must invest in our people to grow our human capital and transform national productivity so that our economy can attract investment and compete with the best and the rest of the world.
So this is something which, even from the 70s, Michael was saying, invest in the people. Now, this is what all these great nations who are now on top of the world, this is what they did. You hear me?
God, loud and clear, sir.
Okay. This is what all those great nations who are now great, this is what they did. They invested in their people. From in the 70s, our government saw that was what you needed to do. However, this same great nation who is now telling Russia that if you invade Ukraine, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. The same great nation who is despising communism or authoritarianism is one who came down in Jamaica, brand us as communists, and has destabilized our country. And that is what start the propeller spinning for crime.
Good.
Prior to independence, Jamaica's crime rate was not even on the radar in terms of murders in the world. In terms of crime in general in the world, we weren't even on the radar. And they gave us what you call independence. Right? So it's like you have a car, you have a person in the car who can't drive, but you turn the car over to them. You must crash.
Right.
So this is where our thing is now. We are past talking about, what they do in terms of tourism and thing now, how them control the beaches and all that. We past that. It's gotten worse. That's gotten worse. And I can only tell you that we are right where they want us to be, because crime only, you know why they don't lock down the country for crime? Crime only affect one set of people.
Gone.
But COVID affected everybody. And that's how you know COVID was from the Most High.
Right.
Right? COVID leveled the playing field. COVID never did look and say, all right, this is Mr. So-and-so going into his home. Right? Right across the board, they are dead. Whether you're black, white, pink, or blue, there was death. Crime, on the other hand, affects you and I.
God.
They're not going to lock down the country and stop the economy from turning for you. They're not doing it for us. But they had to do it for everybody, because for the rich and the other people, because they were affected by COVID as well. Crime don't affect them. Or you know that crime don't affect them? I always talk about, you know, you can talk about Clarendon here. You can talk about Kochi. You can talk about Montego Bay, where you have the tourists and the rich businesses and things, as opposed to where you have the murders and things. Not too far away, and yet still, it's not spilling over in those communities. Why? Because it's under control. I'm not saying that our people should turn the guns on them. I'm just showing you the contrast of how they are able to get us to destroy ourselves while they are building themselves. And this is what the Most High is angry about. My people is being led as a lamb to the slaughter. That is what is happening to us here. All right, I don't think we need to go further with this tip. We can get some more scriptures. Revelation 14. Because when we think that, yeah, they mash up the place and so on and so forth, yes, they did. And they're still doing it. But the Most High still have a way out for his people. Revelation 14, 3-5. Hello. All right, after that, I don't get knocked off. All right, Revelation, let me go to it. Revelation 14, verse 3 states, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. So this is the Most High's army. That is why only them know that song. Not necessarily a song that they sing with the mouth, you know, but a certain way of acting, a certain way of moving in the earth, a certain way of moving like a soldier. It's only those who get the Most High's training will be able to do it. Hence, only we know that song. Revelation 14 and 4. These are they which were not defiled of women, for they are virgins. Being defiled of women here is referring to idolatry. These are they that did not get caught up in idolatry. Those of us who weren't caught up in, you know, other religions. Yeah, many of us were in the church, but we still weren't bending the knee to Baal. That's why we got out. That's why we got out of the church. And we got out of Christianity. And we start keeping the Most High's statutes because it belongs to us. And no man can come, don't have the right to come and tell us, the laws are done away with you. You shouldn't be keeping it. So what if you want to keep it? How is it a problem to you? If you don't want to keep it and you choose to die, then go ahead and die. But as for me and my house, we shall serve the Most High God of Israel. All right, verse 5. Right, defiled of women, verse 4, for they are virgin. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruit unto God and to the Lamb. This is the Most High's 12th tribe, because they tell you that this 144 was sealed of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And verse 5 says, and in their mouth was found no guile, meaning that there is no deception. When we tell you to keep the commandments of the Most High, we are not beguiling you. We're not telling you something that is wrong. We're not telling you something that is going to hurt you. For they are without fault before the throne of God. The Most High don't see any fault in we telling you to keep the Most High's laws. All right. Next scripture. 2 Esdras 13 and 13. Alright, what we just read is 2 Esdras 15. Now it's 2 Esdras chapter 13, verse 13. And it reads, so you have the 144,000 that the Most High is going to use, because all this is crumbling. It is unfair unto the Most High people. And there came much people unto him. This is talking about people coming unto Christ. Whereof some were glad, some were happy that they were free, some were sorry. No, they weren't sorry that they were free. They are just sorry that, you know, why we sorry when they listen to them prophets them on the street side that tell us if we keep the Most High's commandment. Jesus, peace, look how we could have been in governance. And some were bound. Some were taken as prisoners. Who was those as prisoners? Them other races, them same ones who are oppressing the Most High's people right now. And other, some brought up them that were offered. They were killed. They were slaughtered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awakened and said, all right, so this part here in 2 Esdras is talking about those who come unto Christ. Now watch this. This was from Esdras time. No, this was before Christ. No. Now watch this, what Christ says in Luke 19 and 27. Luke chapter 19 and verse 27. Christ is speaking here. Christ said, but those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them. So those of the other nations who don't want Christ to reign over them, what is going to happen to them? Christ says, bring them hither and slay them before me. So that is why in 2 Esdras 13 and 13, you have this part where it says, and some others, and other, some brought up them that were offered. Those are the ones who didn't want Christ to reign over them. Christ said, bring them on before me and slay them. What do you mean? Bring them before them, make him charge and then execution. Yeah, it's not a barbaric thing. It's just execution. Death sentence. You know, death sentence in a Esau world right now. That's what Christ is telling you. But a lot of these people will be given the death sentence. Isaiah 14, verse 1 and 2. And that correct down upon Officer Kennedy. Book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1 states,
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So, in Isaiah, he's telling you that this that you're experiencing now, they're blaming you for all the crime and all them things there. This is going to pass. And you, Jacob, Israelites, are going to come out victorious. Verse 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. This is those now in 2nd Esdras where it says, 2nd Esdras 13 and 13, and some of them were bound. Right. The precept to that would be Isaiah 14 and 2 here. The people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So the Most High is giving his people rulership. It ain't gonna go like how Esau think it will go. All right, so with this now I have to ask, is there any questions? Any question online? If you have any question online, type it in. Any question in the class? Officer Kyle is out, so I don't know what happened. All right. Any questions online? Any question from the class? Question now.
I heard that is it true that Jesus will come when like everyone dies?
Everybody won't die. Some people will die. You will be taken up to be salvaged. Right? You stick in the truth, you will be salvaged. You will be saved by Christ.
Okay.
So like yes, sir. At a power outage.
Yeah, we might tell me.
Okay.
I thought so. All right, so we're through with the scriptures. You have any questions?
Yeah, sir. No question.
All right, no questions. All right, so with that, we turn the class over to Priest and Officer Kayadwan.
All right, clap it up. These are the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and the Commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in the book of Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3 verse 8 to 10. Being sent in the Hebrew and is pronounced Ma'aishara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, that is the Feast of Purim, and that is in that is the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month, and that is Monday the 14th and Tuesday the 15th of February. You can find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 to 31. Reminding Akiam and Aquatium to check on social media such as I.S.U.P.K, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he's to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we say I Madium, which means to stand. Sar Wapanya Aquadam, which says Salakia, which is turn and face the east. We're gonna say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and then in English. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shamaya.
Shabashamaya. Tada. Go again.
Aya. Salakia, now come in clear.
You start, come back clear now.
Okay. Yeah.
Aya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa. Amalakwat. I didn't get that one.
Malakwatka. Yeah, hear me, sir? Malakwatka. Silakia, you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, come. Malakwatka.
Malakwatka.
Taba'a.
Taba'a.
Ratazaka.
Ratazaka.
Aya.
Aya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Ba'arataza.
Ba'arataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Aya.
Aya.
Bashamaya.
Bashamaya.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Kal.
Kal.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kasalat Nawa.
Kasalat Nawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Tabaya Nawa.
Tabaya Nawa.
Banasaya one.
Banasaya one.
Abal.
Abal.
Awashai Nawa.
Awashai Nawa.
Maya.
Maya.
Right.
Right.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwa.
Amalakwa.
Wa'ala.
Wahala.
Wa'atapara.
Watapara.
La'aywalamya.
La'aywalamya.
Amen.
Amen. In English, our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom and the power.
For thine is the kingdom and the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever so be it.
Forever so be it.
All right. Prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth.
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth and all things living.
King of heaven and earth and all things living.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us, thy prophet.
That speak against us.
The teachers.
Teachers.
The princes.
The princes.
The priests. The Israelite brothers and the school.
The Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen.
And shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel.
And shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites and the nations.
To the Edomites and the nation.
And their drug dealers.
And their drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
Prison system.
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
The Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Skinheads.
Kwasi
Kamatazi.
The gay movement.
The gay movement.
The lesbian movement.
The lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
NASA space program.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marines.
Marines.
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet and the airways.
Open up the internet and the airways.
The cable access channels.
The cable access channels.
And the radio channels.
And the radio channels.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people.
That seek to stop us.
That seek to stop us.
And bring swift destruction.
And bring swift destruction.
To all the heathens.
To all the heathens.
That stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your word.
That stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your word.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
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 Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Through the earth.
Through the earth.
And consume them.
And consume them.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let Yahweh Shai, Michael and Gabriel.
Let Yahweh Shai, Michael and Gabriel.
Come down with the flying saucers.
Come down with the flying saucers.
And punish all the heathens.
And punish all the heathens.
That come up against us.
That come up against us.
As we speak thy word.
As we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known by all.
Cause it to be known by all.
That it is the angels that have done it.
That it is the angels that has done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahweh, thank you always so be.
In the name of Yahweh, thank you always so be it. Alright, this is the prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Basham Yahweh.
Basham Yahweh.
Baba Kwasha.
Baba Kwasha.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Akak.
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 Larapa'a.
Larapa'a.
Kalmakala.
Kalmakala.
Wakal Madawa.
Wakal Madawa.
Akak.
Akak.
Lata'ar.
Lata'ar.
Amatazarayam.
Amatazarayam.
Akak.
Akak.
La Aquayam.
La Aquayam.
Amathiam.
Amathiam.
Akak.
Akak.
Airakawa.
Airakawa.
Atamala.
Atamala.
Lagarashan.
Lagarashan.
Basham Yahweh.
Basham Yahweh.
THAWADAH Aman.
THAWADAH Aman. In English, Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
Thank you always so be.
Thank you always so be. Sir, the prayer for the blessings, it's up on the phone. I'm not sure if when I click out at this, we go up on the app to read it, if it will close this. So, yeah, just read. I don't know if I can read the two of them, the Hebrew and the English. Yeah.
All right, no sir, no sir.
Yeah, man.
Yahweh Basham Yahweh.
Yahweh Basham Yahweh.
Barak Lanao.
Barak Lanao.
Waya Sharal.
Waya Sharala.
Wahabayat Sapariam.
Wahabayat Sapariam.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapa.
Rapa.
Magan. Magan.
Agan.
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 Commanding General Yana.
Commanding General Yana.
The generals.
The generals.
The captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
The young men and the sisters.
The young men and the sisters.
Basham Yahweh.
Basham Yahweh.
THAWADAH Aman.
THAWADAH Aman.
All right, in English. Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Bless us and Israel.
Bless us and Israel.
And the school.
And the school.
Bless.
Bless.
Heal.
Heal.
Shield.
Shield.
Protect our loved ones.
Protect our loved ones.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Thank you, so be.
Thank you, so be it.
All right, that's it.
All right, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. Imadium Shabbat. Imadium. Barak. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Brakatah.
Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Brakatah.
Yadamata, sir, which means to turn. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel. Amadium Shabbat. Amadium. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alatan Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Yadamata, class dismissed.
To all online viewers, please remember, like, subscribe, share our videos, pay your tithes, ISUPK.com. Pull out this online attendance sheet. It counts towards you getting your 90 days. Sorry, it counts towards you getting your doing your 90 days to get your Hebrew name, right? It counts towards you getting your Hebrew name. So we encourage you to fill out that form each time you attend class. Until then, we say Shalom.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God. Come on, to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord of wars. On one and one.
Concentrate all your dishes, pots, pans, forks, knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment and a hotel. You know what I mean?
This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck. You can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud. Straight up out the base.
In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel were the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said he would send plagues upon the earth before he frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today and call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K Jamaica. Shalom.